at the end of the day, you still work for the builder. You're still their employee. So that sometimes presents some challenges where you're stuck in that middle between your employer and the person sitting in front of you who you want to do everything you can to do what's best for them as well. Hi, my name is Derrick Beach.
And I'm Gaylene Beach, and we just wanted to share with you our story. So I was born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta.
And I was born and raised in New Brunswick.
And we met in college.
We met in our first year of college, and I knew right away that I liked Gaylene. It took her longer to come around, a few years.
So we were married August 2002, so we're actually going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary coming up. So after we were married, Derrick wanted to pursue his education degree, and so he ended up going to Grant MacEwan and U of A, and after he graduated, decided that he wanted to be able to be more fluent and proficient in the spoken French so that he'd be able to teach it better. So we lived abroad in France for about a year. And then after we came back, we discovered that we were expecting our first.
So at that time, no pressure, but we were expecting, right? And then I had to find a teaching job. So had a great opportunity to teach grade 6 in Leduc. Jumped on it and taught there for 3 years and had a wonderful time teaching there. And then
We were expecting twins.
yeah, that did change a lot. And I ended up deciding to move to Edmonton to teach instead of teaching in Leduc. And when the twins were born, I decided to take some time off to help at home because, you know, we had a 2-year-old and now we had twins. And during that time, a couple things happened. I realized I didn't miss teaching enough to go back to it. Then I was like, okay, you know, what's next? So at that time we were looking at, you know, building a home or, visiting show homes and talking to new construction salespeople. And we ended up finding a builder we liked at that time. And as we were going through the process, the person that we were working with from the builder basically just asked, you know, Derrick, have you ever thought about or considered going into new home sales? That was something I hadn't considered. With my personality, I'm more laid back, and I always just thought of salespeople as salesy, I guess, to go with the word. I just didn't really fit with who I pictured myself as. But the more I learned about it, the more I realized that you don't have to be that type of person to do well in the industry. And so we made the decision to, you know, for me to follow that opportunity. And at that time, I, you know, took an associate role with that particular builder. And that started, you know, the next 8 years of our lives where I was working in show homes for, I guess it was 3 different builders over those 8 years. Learned a ton, loved it, met lots of great people.
And during that time, we had found out we were actually expecting our 4th. So we ended up having a scenario of our life rhythm of having 4 children under the age of 4. And it was a lot. If you think back to it, I don't even know how it all worked out. So they weren't even in school yet. They were still all at home.
I lost all my hair. You
More
can see
grays
the
happening.
the lack of sleep, like the bags under my eyes. They're still there, even though they're all getting older now.
Lots of sleepless nights, for sure. There was lots of times where we were just surviving to the next nap or to bedtime, and I don't even know how we made meal times happen. But it was also some of the fullest memories looking back, just with the holidays that we were able to have, and the times we were able to get to the park, and just even times around the house where we're laughing and playing games and doing crafts and all that kind of stuff. It just it made our days very special, but also very hectic. So Derrick would come home starving, ready to eat, but then the boys were ready for bedtime, and trying to get 4 boys ready for bedtime is a task in itself. And so by the time we got the boys in bed, and by the time we got ready for the next day with laundry and dishes and all that kind of stuff, we just found our days where we were exhausted. And so it's the rhythm of life with young children, for sure, but it just was really tricky with Derrick's schedule with working in new home sales. And sometimes if a client came in even after hours, he would have to stay until that client was taken care of, which is part of the job, absolutely, and he would give it his absolute best. But it made things really difficult on the home front. And then when the boys started school, into grade school, we started noticing it became increasingly difficult, because Derrick and I would get the boys ready for school in the morning, and Derrick would drop them off, but then he would be leaving for work just right before the boys got home from school, and then wouldn't see them again until bedtime. So that was during the week, and then would also have to work during the weekends and holidays as well. So we were just finding the prime hours where there could be quality time with the boys and with the family. Derrick was missing those opportunities just because you were working.
Yes. And now you can see who the talker is in the relationship.
Hey.
So sometimes we need that balance.
We balance each other out really well.
So about 1.5 years ago, I started looking into getting my realtor's license. And part of the reason behind that was, like what Gaylene had discussed, was about the flexibility and of being out of the show home and still being involved in helping people with finding homes for their families. I still wanted to be involved with that. I still enjoyed that. I still enjoy it. And so then began that thought process, and also just falling in line with our family values of like, okay, over the past number of years, I've been in the show home. I found that doing that, there was lots of positives, but there was also, the downside was that I felt like I was missing a bunch of opportunities with the boys at home. And I felt that maybe being a realtor and getting into real estate would still allow me to pursue helping people with one of the biggest purchases they'll ever make for their families, but also being able to balance it out with having some flexibility to schedule in quality time with the family a little bit easier. And so that started that process. So one of the pieces that to being in new home sales, which a lot of people, if you haven't been in the industry, you wouldn't see it, but if you're in the industry, if you're in the show home, you do see it, is that there's a bit of a weight there when you're working with families, clients. At the end of the day, you still work for the builder, you're still their employee. So that sometimes presents some challenges where you're stuck in that middle between your employer and the person sitting in front of you who you want to do everything you can to do what's best for them as well. So there's two opposing, like, sometimes forces, not all the time, and it doesn't happen too often, but there's two opposing forces, you know, pulling you in different directions. And that, I don't know, for me, it just, after a while, that weighed on me. And moving over to real estate, now I can see with the clients I'm with, I'm 100% working for them. And that's it. Like, completely, that's it, right? I'm 100% there for them, no matter what. I'm behind them, I'm supporting them, offering my expertise, going to bat for them, and that, being that middle person, has now been removed, which I feel like that's lifted a big weight off of my shoulders personally. So about just over a year ago, I got my license. Started with an amazing broker, and was a great decision. Not without its stresses, because now I went from having people come to me in a show home to now I need to go out and find people that I can help. So that's the challenge in real estate. You know, how do you find people? There's 100 different ways you can do that. It's just finding the 3 or 4 specific ways that I feel like that I can do that well, and doing that consistently. And so the past year has been it's been good. Like, it's been good for our work-life balance, for my work-life balance. It's been good as far as learning more about myself and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And so it's been a growing experience. It has its ups and downs. Like, it's not easy. We've been very blessed to have had a lot of opportunities in this past year, and to connect with people and help different families with their housing needs. And so I'm very grateful for that.
So when Derrick and I made the decision that he would be pursuing being a realtor, a major shift in the way that we were going to approach that was me assisting him in various aspects of what that entailed, more from behind the scenes. So just helping him with his website and publications and brochures and expenses and accounting and all of those things. And so we tried this past year for me to assist him in those ways as much as I could, with balancing another job and also taking care of our 4 boys. And I thought, you know, we could kind of feel out this past year and just to see what that looked like. And so I think we kind of were able to get by and to manage, and business was slowly moving and we were getting momentum and things like that. But I feel like once Christmas came, that became a huge turning point in the rhythm in our family life and in our work life, where a lot of things started to collide. We decided shortly after Christmas that we would make the next step and the next move for me to help Derrick full-time. So it's a new chapter for us where we're going to be working with each other full-time, and I will be working as an unlicensed assistant and helping out where there are needs in our business together.
She'll be the creative person, because that's not my forte, and holding the administrative side together, because that's also not my forte, not my strong point. And then I will be focusing more on the day-to-day, finding the business, going out to see properties, setting up viewings, working on, whatever needs to be done for listing properties for people that are looking to sell, all those pieces, right? And then who knows, maybe one day, maybe there'll be a progression from, maybe we'll eventually both have our licenses. big part of our business is built on building trust, and it's through those relationships, those connections, and building that trust in those relationships. So one big thing that you can do for us is, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. That helps us get more exposure, and we would love that and appreciate that. And also, if you have any questions, our contact information is there, and feel free to reach out. Give us a call, send us a text, send us an email. We would love to connect and see if there's any way that we can help you.
So thank you again for watching and for all your support, and we look forward to connecting.